Gotcha! Tough diddly gaika! And welcome to this next video. This is going to be part 5 of the XL600 restoration. Well, restoration, mechanical restoration. So, what else? Oh yes, I have named the channel. I got an email from YouTube that said I could pick like a handle. I think it's because all you people in the Netherlands have signed up to watch me. Thank you. So I have named the channel, and it is now called Wasting My Money on Motorcycles. So if you go to YouTube/Wasting My Money on Motorcycles, you'll find me, or you can just look for me. I think that's a good name because, you know, that's kind of what I'm doing. So stand by and you'll see the fifth and last chapter of the XL600 restoration. Thank you. Okay, last piece of the engine is the valve cover. These caps have an O-ring. I believe I have new ones of those. Really, you know, I want to prevent it from leaking oil, so I'll use some. There is a metal gasket, but I'm going to use a light film of sealer because this was definitely leaking when I took it apart. And then there are two decompression valves, one on the kicker and one on a grip-driven cable. And I want to see if there's washers or O-rings or whatever. So I'm going to take this little rod out. Let's see. There's some evidence that it's been leaking. Let's see if I have that. And then the other one, there's a little rod for that. It's the same kind of, looks like a rubber seal. I'll go check and see if I have those. Okay, so I do have those seals as part of the kit. Here's one. What did I do with the other one? I took it out to see whether it fit. And I put it down for 2 seconds and, oh, here it is. Okay, good. So it's going to just come out. No, why would it just come out? Definitely evidence that this one's been leaking as well. Well, I'm all in because I definitely destroyed the old one. Okay, I'll struggle with that. Alright, so another component that I don't want to leak, these rocker shafts. Copper washers are pretty good about not, you know, degrading or leaking, but it kind of seems like it's been leaking. So let me go see if I have one of these. So, yeah, I do have some. They're not exactly the same. They're quite a bit smaller, but I'm hoping they'll be okay. This is my new torque wrench that I bought when I thought my torque wrench was bad, when I was destroying the cylinder head bolts. So the torque setting is 18 to 22 foot-pounds, 15, 20. These look reasonably stout. Okay, good. Alright, so do that 4 more times. Okay, well, it's taken a long time to get to this point. On the valve cover, I've Of course, as you can see, it's not just a valve cover, right? It's got the rocker arms in it. I replaced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copper washers. The ones I had were thinner than the original, so on the sub-rocker ones it was binding, so I put 2. As you can see there, I put 2 of them on 1, 2, 3, 4. The main rockers were okay. So those are all torqued up. I've got new seals in the decompression valves. This is the one driven by the Kickstarter. This is the one driven by the hand grip. I think it's all ready to go. It's all cleaned up. There's a metal washer installed. I have a very light film of Bright Stuff. I've got all my little dowels in. Locating dowel 1, locating dowel 2. That's good to go. Alright, let's give it a shot.
Notice I have the cam lobes down. I recommend that. Makes it easier to put it on.
Alright, so now there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 bolts to go on. So let me clean these bolts up and then I will start torquing them. Okay, so I've got the cylinder, the valve cover tightened down, torqued within reason. It says 69 foot-pounds. The 2 torque wrenches that I have, they don't really work down that low. Maybe I need to get a whole nother torque wrench, which is just for very light torque. I snugged them up really good. There's a center bolt on this one, which takes 19 to 22. I put that at 20. Everything else is snugged up. I did it in a crisscross pattern. I think it's good. I think with as much sealer as I put on there, it should be fine. Okay, so now I'm at valve adjustment. So it's 0.002 inches on the intake and 0.004 inches on the exhaust. And I've got it at top dead center.
That's pretty good right there. Okay.
I'll just show one of these because there's a million people that adjust valves.
That's a little tight. That feels better.
Okay, I think that's good. Okay, well, the engine's back together. Valves are adjusted. Oil line, new copper washers. I do have an extra bolt, which is distressing me a little bit, but it's definitely an external bolt. And I cleaned it up on the wire wheel. I suspect that it's some kind of frame bolt as opposed to an engine, but it was in one of my bins for engine. So I'm a little distressed about that. But I guess if it's anything important, the engine's going to let me know. So I'm not going to put it in tonight. It's Saturday around 4. I'm starting to get a little tired. I think I will put it in tomorrow. Here's the state of the bike. It's still in this messy stage. I need to put the headlight assembly back together with the indicators, the speedometer and all of that. I'm going to put the wheel back on. I have to put the rear fender and the brand new turn signals I got for that on it. I have a new fuel petcock for the gas tank, which is over there. The gas tank is not leaking. It's been in the same spot for a while. over there. It has not leaked all over the place, luckily. That's all for now. So this might be, well, this probably is a complete waste of time. Got this front fender, and this is the back part, and this is the front part, and it's cracked off. So it mounts, of course, with these 4 bolts, and then the bike moves up and down. There's a lot of stress on the front fender. And not only is it cracked completely off, it's also cracked down this seam here, making it worse. But what I am going to try to do is use this little gun that you've probably seen advertised on Facebook, where you got this little gun here, you put these things, it's basically like kind of a bent paperclip thingy, and you press the trigger, it superheats it and it melts into the plastic. In addition to that, I'm going to try to use some clear JB Weld to put along the seam to see if that will kind of give it some rigidity. I don't know why I'm really bothering with this. I mean, it's pretty beat to hell. It's all scratched. But why not? What the hell? Can you save it kind of thing?
Okay, I'll make a bunch of this. It's probably good.
I think this stuff sets pretty quickly.
Alright.
Kind of want to get this into this crease here. So I'm going to use this stuff as like glue to glue the 2 pieces together, and I'm going to use those staples to try and keep it in place. I'll just go ahead and put it right over that dirt. I did try to clean it with brake cleaner.
Okay. Get it all covered.
Okay. Okay. First thing I'm going to try to do is get this big one that's running down the side. You forgive me if you can't see. I'm running on a time clock here because I used the epoxy. It's not going to do it any favors if me and the fender are all covered with epoxy. Alright, connect the 2 big parts together here. Start somewhere. That looks about right. Trying to press it together.
Okay, one in there. Get epoxy all over myself.
See if I can show a good one here. So you take the little thingy, put it on the crack, cross it, press a button, it'll start melting in. Wait till it disappears, and then turn it, and then let off. And wait a few seconds. And then pull it off. So about 20 of those things later, yeah, looks alright. Why bother saving this? I don't know. Why not? There's a plastic kit for the bike. I think it's $365. That gives all the plastic. I don't know what kind of quality, but there is a plastic kit. So if I want to restore it, I probably will end up buying that and won't need this. But this will do for now. October 2nd, Sunday morning. It's probably 50 degrees out here, 55 maybe. Fall is just starting to set in. The leaves are just barely starting to turn. Beautiful fall morning. So for the seat, it looks like originally it had some kind of insert, probably an M6 bolt that went in there, but that's long gone. So I got these wood screws or whatever they are, and I threaded them in there. They look like they're going to do the job. I just hope that they don't poke through the seat. Maybe I should cut that off, that point. I think I'll do that. So the rear fender is held on at 4 points up here. The seat goes through here, and this goes onto a little frame. And on the side, it's supposed to have these grommets. The grommets for the top part are on there. They're in okay shape. These ones were destroyed, so I did get some new ones. Freaking ridiculous, I don't know. Probably $15 to get these to my house. 2 different places. But they are nice and brand new and not destroyed. So go. Good. And the mounts, as you can see, one's from the 83, the dark red, one's from the 85, that's the orange. I think there are 2 more of these up in the attic, so I'll go check and see if I have another orange one. Not that the paint's any good anyway. Cleaned these up on the wire wheel, they were all rusty. They go in there like that. Okay. I did have 2 orange ones. Okay. Forgot something kind of important. Sometimes you need an extra hand. I'm trying to get this grommet on the top lined up, as well as lining up this hole, and this thing weighs about 15 pounds or so. There it is. Is that how it's supposed to go? Well, that's what I'm gonna go with. Okay, here we go with the brand spanking new reproduction rear turn signal, which I really should not put on, because the first thing I'm going to do with this, if it runs, is try to do wheelies. And inevitably I'll wipe out and ruin these. I probably should just leave the whole rear fender off. But I just can't help myself. I forget what I paid for these. At the end I will show exactly how much I paid for the bike and how much I've paid in parts, and also try to estimate the amount of hours of labor for what I'll call it phase 1. So this is like I'm not restoring it, I'm just mechanically restoring it. How much did it take to get what looked like an easy fix, but really was a basket case? How much does it take to get that mechanically functional so that you could actually drive it down the road legally? So I did get some float bowl gaskets. Too Fast Moto. I think the guy's called I Buy I Sell. He has a lot of old Honda parts. And this one looks, I don't know, better than the other one. I think this one's gonna work. If you recall, I got this cheap, super cheap, $22 I think for 2 carburetors. Had wrong parts in it and the gasket is just not even close. It doesn't fit at all. It just, even if you stretch it out. And one of the float bowl gaskets was leaking, so I really did want to replace this. Replace these.
Come on. Alright. Well.
Now I can see that the gasket is a little bit taller and not quite as mushed. So we'll see if that works. So it has these black boots on it, which are not correct for the 85. The 85 had blue. I've made 2 attempts to get blue, and this is more like a purple. This one probably would fit. This one said on the chart that it fit an XL600. These were like 16 bucks, 13 bucks, I don't know. 16 bucks delivered maybe. Crappy quality, and they don't, of course, fit. You know, it's not even close. They did have the measurements, which I did not check, so that's on me. This one I think actually will fit, but it's the wrong color. It's ugly. These are all brittle and not really serving any purpose. Well, I guess they would serve a purpose, but it's cut. I'm gonna cut those off of there. Well, the little screws have been sitting out in the weather for 37 years. There's not any thread left, so I'm gonna destroy the screws. Okay. Okay, putting the instrument cluster back together. Big old gasket. These are lights to illuminate the speedometer. They were bad. They are now good. They are on every time you turn the key on. And now the indicator lights. Let's see. What's what? So this is neutral. This other one is turn, and the other one is high beam. All right. Anyway, you get the picture. So it's kind of interesting the way they tie all the connectors together. You have this block, excuse me, that has just bars of metal in there, and these big plugs, they just connect to the bar of metal. So they tie each circuit together, basically distributing ground and power in different ways, just by using this little block. A lot better than having, like in the early 70s, these would all be bullet connectors, so you have like 20 bullet connectors. This is pretty nice. Now there's not that many electrical features on this bike.
Oops. Okay, so I think that this is go. Is that going down? And yeah, we just go like that.
Anyway, I'll fool around with that. It basically mounts up like this. Trying to put the front brake line on, so I basically have this in the right position, the speedometer cluster. There's a little bracket here, and there's a mount for it on the back of the lower triple tree. Let's see, does that go like that? Does this go on, does the brake line go on the inside? Where does that go? I think it goes, seems like it goes on the outside. That. A little bracket that lines up with the hole for this side of the speedometer cluster. So I'm going to guess that that goes out like that. Got a pair of new reflectors for it. Reproductions, they look just like the real thing. Okay. Time to put the rebuilt caliper on. Kind of tight. Kind of seems like it's way too tight. I pushed the calipers all the way in. Oh, I'll have to fool around with this. Well, the caliper's on there. It just seems like it's way too tight, like the brake pads are the wrong ones. This is what sucks. I mean, you buy these things off of eBay, it says it fits, you get it, it looks like the right part, but then it's not the right part. Kind of irritating. And that doesn't fit on there. How about that? Okay, that fits on there. So I'm going to try this brake pump thing when you have a fresh, completely rebuilt cylinder and the line's completely drained as it is. This line's been sitting in a box for a couple of years probably. I've got the, you can't see it, but I've got a clamp on the brake, handbrake, and I'm going to try this pump here, and it's supposed to just pull the fluid right through it. So I'm supposed to pump it up. There's no reading building on this thing. I did put my finger to it and it does create a vacuum. I don't know, probably doesn't work. Anyway, I'm gonna bleed this. I don't think I'm gonna film it. Okay, well it's looking a little more like a bike now. The front part of it is together, front brake is on. It's dragging a little bit. I think the brake pads are too large, but it does spin. Although you can feel the brakes dragging on it and the brakes work. I think they need to be that a little more. And the tail is on and the wheel's back on. So now it's missing that engine, which is yeah. And I'm gonna stick that in there. I gotta wash my hands, but I don't think there's any other particular prep that I need to do here. It's just a matter of finagling it into place. that one that was, I noticed it was missing. I found it up in the box upstairs. Motor mount. Thanks. Is this the right one, or is this really for up here? Yeah, I think that's for up there. Crap. I don't think there's any other ones up there. Well, looks like I'm kind of screwed. Yeah, that's definitely not the right one. Let's see here. It almost looks like it lines up, but it doesn't quite line up. It's off. Darn. Well, I guess I'd have to make something, and I'm not going to make something right now. Okay, well, I've got the engine bolted in place, and now I have to hook up the, let's see, those are the throttle cables, that's the choke cable, so that's going to be later. Clutch cable. That's the choke cable. This is the decompression, so I need to hook that up. And put the chain on, chain cover, gear shifter, kickstarter, foot pegs, and let me go do all that. Hey, look what I found. Like my 19th trip up to the attic for this thing. Oops. There we go. Yes. You see that? All the motor mounts, finally. I just changed my mind and got some more brake pads for the back, some new ones. You can see there's really not that much of a difference in the meat. So these were pretty new, but what the hell. Put the chain on. It seems like that moves around kind of a lot. The whole chain does though. Alright. Let's see. So 10, 11, 12. 12 on both sides. There's little numbers on here. 12, 13, 13. That's pretty tight. I think I'll leave it there. Okay. Yeah, so I took the front brake off. It just bothered me that the brakes are like totally locked. Pistons are all the way in. So here's some other brake pads I got. If you can compare them. See how thick this one is? This one's a little bit thinner. See how that works. Yeah, so you can see the difference now. The caliper goes right on. And there's play, so it can wiggle back and forth. Yep, luck of the draw on eBay. You order the cheap thing, and it might work, it might not work, it looks like the right thing, but you're better off just ordering a better quality part. Getting the exhaust on. These keepers here. Keeper goes in the collar and they butt up against the end of the exhaust pipe, the exhaust header. I'm gonna struggle with that. Come on, get in there. Damn it. Okay, last of the exhaust, the clamp between the header and the muffler. Exhaust was kind of a pain in the ass, if I'm being honest. So the cylinder head studs, one of them came out. This looks like it's maybe been broken. I got it back in there. It's too short, I think, but it's on there. Not a lot of threads on it, but
Order one of those, I guess. Oh, isn't it?
okay. Clutch cable's on. Electrical's hooked up. I want to do a compression test and I want to check for spark. Get the boots. This is hard to kick. $150. Well, $150 is better than what it had before, which I think was around $100. See if the decompression cable works. Ooh, it works. Awesome. noticed when I was kicking this thing, even when I first got it, that the Kickstarter likes to get stuck. And when I had the clutch cover apart, I even disassembled the Kickstarter to see whether there was something misaligned in there. But I noticed it just now. The foot peg is bent and it's trapping it down there. So I don't think that the bolts in there are long enough to put a washer. So I'm gonna find some bolts and a washer. Let me see if I can fix that. Is that? Yeah, I threw a lock washer in there. Oh, my hodgepodge fender. What's going on? Who knows if it'll hold up? But I tried anyway. Pretty gnarly on the underside of this fender, with all those little metal things broken off. All right. Okay, it's that time. The carburetor's on.
There's the choke. Get that on there.
Have you noticed yet that when I get real pissed off, I clear my throat 5,000 times? I just noticed that. And I've been me for a long time. Do, 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 do. Alright, so this is the pull cable. It's the push. So the pull cable has to go down here. That's the pull. So, okay, that's of course, that's no good. So I'm putting the cable on there and it's wide open. That is no good. What am I doing wrong here? So what had happened is the pull throttle cable had pulled out of the throttle mechanism up here and was standing off. So I just had to stick it back in, so now it's all set. Alright. So if you recall, I JB welded this tang on here. So there's JB welded holding the carburetor together at the front. Now it's not that important because they're held pretty good by these boots. These boots are pretty old. I'm going to heat them up with the heat gun so that hopefully that doesn't break off when I stick them back in. Grease on there. Alright. Where's all the slack gone from the throttle cables? must have the throttle cables in the wrong position. Damn it. Okay, let's try it again. There it is. The airbox, I don't have the cover, and I don't have a bracket that you would put the air filter over. So I got these, but damn, it's pretty tight in here. I don't see these things going in there at all. Okay. Let's see. Okay, well maybe that would go in there. There we go. Alright, that one would jam in there. How about the other one? It's pretty tight. That'll make it though. Good. Okay. When I get there, I'll put those on. I got a new petcock for it, although this one is not leaking at all. So would I be better off leaving the old one or putting a new cheapo one? This was like $8 delivered. Let's take a look what the filter looks like. There's not a lot of gas in it, so I'm hoping this won't pour out all over the place. Fuel filter has come off. You can see the end of it right there. Get this out of there. Let me think. I'm kind of like all in here, and I'm doing something you're not supposed to do, which is like I have metal and metal. One little spark. There's gasoline all over this thing. I do have a fire extinguisher. Probably was still functional. Pretty beat up though. Gas tank definitely needs to be cleaned. Should I do that? Nah. I got a fuel filter. Screw it. Now watch, this one will leak all over the place. Brand new. I've had that happen. I want to turn it off. You can hear the rust in there. Okay, so that's done. A little stinky. So the gas tank is really dirty. Maybe if some of it will come off. Yeah, I guess I'll just simple green it. I also have some rubbing compound here. Yeah, that's a nice big dent. Not pristine. Let's get that rust right there, which is always moist. Not a good sign. New rubber stoppers. fit at all. Bang it against stuff. Okay, I gotta fix stuff. Okay, well here we are. It's all back together. It's that time where I gotta figure out whether or not it's gonna start. I almost don't want to start it because I don't want bad news. I kicked it over about 20 times with the decompression lever on, fuel off, to circulate the oil. Hopefully the oil pump is working. And now I just turned the gas on. Float bowl seemed to be not leaking, that's good. So we should be ready to go here. I got the decompression lever in. I'm going to kick it about 5 times to pull some gas out. Okay. It died when I took my hand off the choke. Idle down too much. Some oil burn off, grease I had on the carb, liquefying. I don't see any puddles of oil, so that's good. I'm going to bring it outside. I pulled over for no particular reason. Bike was running fine. I came to a complete stop and it shut off. And I let it sit for a minute or two, kick it, it started up, idled, but if you give it throttle, it bogs down. So, I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, it seems like a fuel delivery problem, but it's been running like totally fine. Great power. How could the float just like be out of adjustment all of a sudden? It's got gas. I put it on reserve. I mean, this, the fuel filter, I have to run the line in and it goes up and over. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's just not gonna work. I'll try that. Yeah, so the problem was the fuel filter. I was playing with the routing of the cable. Oops. Problem was the fuel filter. I was playing with the routing of the cable and I switched it. And you have to have a certain flow. Most of them have an arrow. These cheap ones do not. Anyway, that's what it was. The fuel filter was in backwards. Done. Well, what'd you think? That's it for the XL500, XL600 for now. The motorcycle season is just about over. Actually, I should show it. Let's see. I think I got done with that about 4 weeks ago. Those videos of me riding it around. Here's the bike. It's I've ridden it a bunch of times. It runs good. It has an oil leak. Initially, it had no oil leaks, and then it was just a drip every few days, and now it's a little worse. So I think the side cover is leaking because I took the gasket. I took the cover on and off a bunch of times, and I put sealer on both sides. And when you do that, you rip the RTV, and then it leaks through the RTV. So hopefully it is that. So I got a new gasket, which I will change out when I get time. All these other stupid motorcycles. This one I finally figured out why I didn't idle right, and I put that one up for sale. It was the jetting, and then I'm constantly trying to get that one ready to go. Anyway, yeah, so it runs pretty good. The last time I tried to start it, it was a pain in the ass to start. They seem to flood real easily. So it'll start, you get any gas, it'll die out. And then if you're tempted to give it more gas because you want it to go vroom and rev up when it starts,
but that just seems to flood it, and then it'll literally just kick it forever and it won't start. And of course, it's exhausting to kick. It's a 600 on one cylinder. So you take the plug out and you clean the plug off, put some starting fluid in it, and then it'll start. I don't know, I haven't quite mastered it. I've heard that these are a pain in the ass to start. Let's see, I wanted to show how much I spent on it. So, let's see, hopefully you can see this. If you can't, I'm not sure. Maybe there's a way to like edit so you can show this stuff. I'll have to see how this comes out. Anyway, I way overpaid for the bike. The bike included an entire, well, most of an entire parts bike. I thought it was an entire parts bike, but there was lots of pieces missing. There was pieces missing, so it cost me a lot of money on eBay finding other parts. So I paid $1,100 for the bike. Title and tax, that's Massachusetts, nothing you can do about that. I won't go over everything, but $50 for the rear turn signals, $67. This is delivered. Almost all this is on eBay. Seat cover, which I didn't put on. The rebuild kit for the front caliper was $83. The engine gas kit, $72. The front brake, the used front brake caliper, which was missing, $85. Front rear sprockets, $53. And not to get too distracted by that, but those are that's like the XR. I learned this later. These are like the XR sprockets, more for dirt. And it's pretty good at wheelies, but what I found is with this big sprocket on the back, you run out of RPM real quick. So if you get the front end up in the air, the engine will be revving so high that like you can't goose it anymore. It just doesn't have any torque left. So I may put XL600 sprockets back on it. Again, I don't know if you can see any of this. Hopefully you can, but just some of the bigger, you see all these little things, 15, 16 bucks over, 30 bucks for brake pads, graphics kit, which I will put on it if I get a restoration, plastics, which I don't know if I will or not, 75 bucks for the skid plate, which was missing, blah blah blah, 10 bucks for this, 30 bucks for that. The chain slider, that little tiny piece of Bakelite or whatever it is, 34 bucks. The chain swing arm slider, 83 bucks. Why did I buy that? Multiple carb kits. The cheap one was 23 bucks. I got half of that back. Timing chain tensioner, I bought a brand new one, 61 bucks. The pod filters, 32 bucks. The float bowl gaskets, 19 bucks. Chain guard, which I didn't put on there yet, 14 bucks. Battery, 50 bucks. So $23.56 in total expenditure. And for all of that, I got a okay looking 85 Honda XL600. How do I feel about that? I don't know. It was worth it. I don't know, whatever. Like I said, wasting my money on motorcycles is a good name for the channel. It was $2,350 and lots of labor. I think that was I think it was basically 5 or 6 weekends is how I would look at it. Not all day Saturday or Sunday, basically one day between Saturday and Sunday. Maybe I'm out here, and sometimes if I have time, I get out here at night. That's it for this one, and stay tuned because the next video series will be on the Kawasaki Z1R. See ya. Let's see. So I have this XL600. It took me all that time just to get it to run and drive on the road, and I don't really have a great use for it. It kind of takes up a lot of space. So I don't know whether I'm going to keep it or not. And of course, you know, that's why it made perfect sense to buy another one. The 3 weeks or so after I got the first one, this one came up for sale. It's in a lot better condition. Brand new gas tank, brand new tires. Front brake was screwed up. I had to rebuild the caliper and put new pads on it, and it needs a chain. And it runs perfectly. It doesn't leak any oil. If you look out here, it's been out here for weeks. And you also notice it doesn't have its carbs on it because I took the carbs off it and stuck them on the other one because it was not really running all that great. So I'll have to figure that out next year. But the big problem with it is that second gear is no good. Probably missing some teeth off the second gear. So the engine has to, although the engine runs perfectly and it doesn't blow any smoke at all, it starts right up. The engine will have to come out and be taken apart, split the cases, and find out what's wrong with second gear. Why did I get myself into that one? I don't know. Who knows? Why not? You know? Why are there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bikes out here? Why not? Engine after engine after engine. Whatever. All right. Have a nice day.